A new Pokemon game means new designs, and while Game Freak has been obsessed with Mega Evolutions recently, I don't think I'm the only one excited for a return to regional forms and permanent evolutions. So naturally, as I look towards the next Pokemon game, I'm sitting here wondering which of my favorite creatures will get an upgrade next. Hey everyone, it's Dusty Go-Goat, welcome back to my headcanon, and I gotta be honest, there's something special about taking a Pokemon that I love. Pokemon like Croagunk, Yanmega, Noctowl, Mienfoo, and the Elemental Monkeys, and building upon its design and lore, and making it that much more powerful. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, let's start with something that is potentially controversial. Here is a normal and Dragon-type alternative evolution to Dunsparce. Now listen, I think with a few years of hindsight, a lot of people have warmed up to the idea of Dunsparce evolving into the Dunsparce. However, this is really never what I wanted for a Dunsparce evolution. And while I never thought Dunsparce should become this godlike epic dragon, I do think the dragon type is very fitting, and I love this design by Dime's Fakemon, where this Pokemon grows into a wise and goofy dragon. This Pokemon remains sleepy, friendly, it's still a bit serpentine. I'm a little disappointed the Dunsparce didn't even get a new typing, so a split evolution like Dunsparce right here would be very much appreciated, but at the end of the day, I just want a Dunsparce evolution to progress past the ground snake that it is. Moving on, we've got a bug in dragon-type Pokemon that I commissioned. I designed this with Mama's art. This is a new evolution for Scyther. I'm always talking about what Pokemon could do next, but imagine a game that actually does it. Monster catching meets Zelda exploration with Octopath Traveler style art. That's today's sponsor, Celestrals Awakened. This is a 2.5D pixel art monster catching RPG coming to PC and the Nintendo Switch, built around Greek mythology. And I don't think we're getting a Greek-inspired Pokemon game anytime soon. You'll bond with one of 8 elemental spirits and train over 100 different Celestrals, challenge gods like Zeus and Poseidon, explore ruined temples, and hunt for rare stellar Celestrals. This is like if a shiny Pokemon actually had busted stats. As your team levels up, you can ascend or nexus them into new evolutions. It's that perfect mix of discovery, strategy, and lore that Pokemon fans like us always want more of. Backing for this project is only open until November 7th, and this is your one chance to get alpha and beta access, unlock exclusive in-game rewards, you can grab limited Kickstarter promo packs and add-ons, and even appear in-game as an NPC or caster. This game is a passion project with massive potential, so if you ever wanted to support a game that actually listens to fans like us, fans of creature collecting worlds, now's the time. Back Celestrals Awakened on Kickstarter while you still can. You'll find links below in the description or in the pinned comment. I'm always yapping about what I want to see in a Pokemon game, and this game does so many things right. Scyther to me has always embodied so many reptilian attributes, and I think these are most notable in its face. So if we ever get some new evolutions for Scyther outside of Scizor and Kleavor, I think a bug dragon type evolution would be really fitting. I imagine this Pokemon would evolve holding the dragon scale. Its body would be coated in this durable blue coating with little accents of yellow. And I like to imagine that this Pokemon is the most natural progression of Scyther. So maintaining the scythe arms, this Pokemon would grow to have these durable, sharp blades on its arms inspired by the Japanese katana. It was important to me that this Pokemon maintained the dragon snout, but we had a few different iterations of this design before finally concluding with this one. And we never gave this Pokemon a name, so if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. I also wanted to highlight this really cool design by Mr. DJ Walnut. This is another Scyther evolution where it is a ghost type. I'm not sure what would cause this in lore, but this design takes inspiration from the Grim Reaper, and you can see the exoskeleton of this Pokemon so much clearer as it has shriveled away, and the standard sights on Scythers have evolved to appear more like sickles. The same artist also made this bug and fairy type regional Scyther, which is really fitting because a fairy bug type Scyther actually almost existed in Generation 7. Recently, there were leaked planning documents that actually proved that Game Freak was planning a fairy type regional Scyther. This artist imagines that this regional Scyther would then evolve to become bug and dark type. This new evolution has a much darker complexion, but I love that the wings on its back and this type of cowl that it has on its shoulder appear like a scary face. This Pokemon gets its dark typing through intimidation. There's all sorts of red accents on this Pokemon, kind of suggesting that rather than slashing, this Pokemon battles by piercing and stabbing. I feel like I'm talking about it all the time, but yeah, Scyther has so much untapped potential when it comes to evolutions. I mean, Scyther, Scizor, those are my favorite Pokemon. Really, really want Game Freak to continue building upon this evolutionary line. Next, we've got a new Steel and Fire type form of Varoom. This is by the Ondo region, and while it is technically a new form, I don't know, you tell me, I think this reads like a new split evolution for Varoom. It resembles a motorcycle, which I think is so much fun. I think a lot of fans are a little bit confused or maybe even disappointed by Varoom. The steel type is obvious, but its poison type to me always made a lot of sense because this thing runs on fossil fuels, right? It runs off of gasoline, which is a poison. And the thing that's actually confusing is that most of its body is made up of rocks. This design to me makes a lot more sense because there's a lot more of its body covered in actual metal, justifying the steel type. We got another design here by Mr. DJ Walnut. This is kind of a silly one, but I actually love this design so much. This is a dark type evolution for Wobbuffet. The artist does say that this is a regional form of Wobbuffet, but really I look at this and I can't help but think it's an evolution because its size is a lot bigger than Wobbuffet and it incorporates new concepts. You can see the lame tail that people theorize is the real Pokemon actually grows and rises up behind the Pokemon. You can see the eyes get a lot more sinister. This looks like a rising shadow, which is what earns this Pokemon the dark type, but also it makes Wobbuffet look a little bit more like it's a mob boss sitting in a chair. I don't know, everything about this Pokemon is so seamlessly crafted in a way that makes it feel like a progression of Wobbuffet. Generation 5 introduced some of the coolest Pokemon, but I think one of their biggest missteps were the elemental monkeys. So I want to show you 3 brand new evolutions for these monkeys. Up first, we've got Muncrash, the fire and dark type evolution for Simisear. It's got the abilities adaptability and drought. I love how the artist has made this Pokemon grow beyond the basic silhouette that all 3 of the monkeys have. This Pokemon is intimidating, it looks mean, enforcing, and to continue the hear no evil motif, the artist says, "You must be careful about what you say around Muncrash. It tends to misinterpret everything it hears, which is why it's always in a bad mood. And if you picked Simisage, you can eventually evolve it into Munking." This is going to be grass and fighting type. Already, I love that each of these Pokemon get a secondary typing that is unique to each one of them. And even though the previous Pokemon looked so hulking, this one actually has the fighting type. And instead of raw physical strength, this monkey focuses on agility. Its tails split and grow longer, reminiscent of a vine whip. And now it has this long, natural wooden staff that it uses in combat. And finally, we have the water type monkey, which I think is maybe my least favorite. But this evolution is so cool, where it becomes the water and psychic type, levitating in air, its long hair continuing to grow, looking like crashing waves with a gradient of blue and white coloration. Its tail comes up in front of it and forms bubbles that look like a crystal ball. This Pokemon's motif is see no evil, so its eyes are seemingly perpetually closed, and I can see this Pokemon Muncry constantly meditating as it floats in the air, predicting the future. The artist writes that the amount of water its body stores is such that it overflows from its eyes as tears. I can totally appreciate and understand the fact that these monkeys kind of serve as a secondary starter Pokemon in the beginning of the game, but I think their potential is squandered because they never really get to a point where you're proud to use it in post-game. All 3 of them just feel like copycat clones of each other. And I think the magic of a starter Pokemon is that it's memorable, it's powerful, it's unique to itself, and it's a reward for using that starter Pokemon throughout your whole journey. Maybe we could get something like this in a Gen 5 remake. If you're still watching and you want to support, you can hit the subscribe button. And if you have the means to go a step further, there are links in the description to join me on Patreon or right here on YouTube. $5 a month gets you access to so much. You're supporting the channel. You'll unlock like 100 hours of theories, speculation, and Fakemon content. Your support directly supports this channel and helps fund the creation of original Fakemon designs. Links in the description. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. Next is an evolution, a very natural evolution for Dhelmise. Its name is Crackdell. This is a design by the talented Emmy Arts, and in this design, they do one of my favorite things in a Pokemon design, where the previous evolutionary stage is present in the new design. This Pokemon evolves when the seaweed continues to grow and overtakes the entire hull of a ship. In the design of this Pokemon, you can still see Dhelmise's anchor. The seaweed has grown out and resembles the tentacles of a kraken. This is such a natural evolution, and I think what I love most about this design is how it seems to be more emotive than Dhelmise. All right, let's give Generation 4 some love in these next few designs. This is Yanmax. Finally, we have a bug in dragon type. When Yanmega is exposed to a dragon scale, it taps into the dragon energy within its DNA. Yanmax was considered extinct. Yanmax does not fly very high due to the weight of its tail. As you can see right here, its tail is very much shaped like the skull of a dragon. This is used to ward off potential threats. It also boosts the power of its attacks, as I'm sure it's able to launch off dragon pulses. This design is so good, and really to me would feel like a fan favorite in the way that Annihilate has become for the Mankey line. We need to see something like this in Generation 10. Next, we've got a regional form of Krogunk. It's ground and fighting type. It loses the poison type. I can totally see this Pokemon spending way too much time in the Great Marsh or somewhere else that's muddy, and that's how it's able to get the ground typing. And what I love is this Pokemon can now evolve into Crowquake. Toxicroak is already so nimble, it's like a little assassin. I love to see the alternative to that, where this Krogunk evolution grows wider and using its physical size and strength to kind of bully the opposing Pokemon. Next, we've got a Noctowl evolution that finally achieves Psychic and Flying type. This Pokemon becomes the Cosmic Owl. Owls are already seen in fantasy as creatures of wisdom. This Pokemon evolves to get this white cloak, and its head feathers grow and flow behind it while they maintain its psychic energy in its head. I think I appreciate this design because it's not just a bigger bird. Cosmowl has a high IQ and is capable of disobeying its trainer. What's really fun about this Pokemon is that it is similar to Malamar. By using the move Turning Tables, Cosmowl will change into its open mind form. By changing its form, he changes its combat style. It can read the minds of everyone close to it, being able to change their thoughts and personalities. Would you like a Noctowl evolution like this? Here's a grass and dragon type evolution for Omnivine. And I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of Carnivine, but seeing something like this where it actually grows beyond a knockoff of Victory Bell. Carnivine evolves into this Pokemon when it is given a dragon fang. Its head grows and tilts on its side. The stem or its neck elongates to appear like a serpentine dragon, and all of its foliage extends and becomes this intimidating mess. It would be really cool if this Pokemon actually had more heads, and just like a bush will have multiple flowers, this Pokemon would have multiple heads like a Hydra. Here's a couple evolutions for Komala. When Komala learns Sleep Talk at level 30, it will evolve into Komwala. It's gonna remain a normal type, but I like that this Pokemon is able to now use the log in a bit more of a dynamic way in battle, and it's got one eye open, which is a nice detail indicating that this Pokemon is a little bit more aware. But I've got another design. This is Wink Koala. Komala truly gets a lot bigger. It can actually hold its log underneath its arm. It gets a brand new psychic typing, which I think also would help this Pokemon differentiate itself and have a more unique identity separate from Komala. One of my favorite details about this Pokemon design is that it seems to have a perpetual night mask in the form of its bushy eyebrows. And the artist, Mr. DJ Walnut, also did a great job showing concept art of what happens when you wake up Wink Koala. He goes into rage mode. Oh, this is fun. This is a ghost and rock type regional form for Sandygast. The whole theme here is that it's based on the American Gold Rush. I'm imagining trainers sifting through river sand in order to find gold flakes. So you can see that this Sandygast has gold on the inside of its mouth and chunks around its body, with a pickaxe replacing the shovel on its head. And the evolution, the regional evolution for this Pokemon is not a bigger sandcastle, but instead it's this little rock gremlin guy, Prospectral. Crabrawler. This guy is so mean. He's got a tin can on his head, some gold teeth, a little golden sparkle in his eyes to indicate his greed. This whole thing's a nice little contrast to the Alolan Pokemon where Sandygast is from. I guess when you take the Pokemon out of Alola, out of Vacation Land, they go back to work and get a little greedy. Ooh, this one's good. We got a fighting in dark type regional Crabrawler. Crabrawler's boxing gloves now resemble spiked maces. It's a weapon. That's definitely where it's getting its dark typing. It's got a nice, clean red coloration, possibly a callback or a reference to Crabrawler's red shiny form. And when this regional Crabrawler evolves, it looks like this devilish ogre Crabrawler, spikes all over its body. It's still just as ugly as ever when it comes to an evolution, but for anyone who's disappointed in Crabominable, it's less goofy. You might like Crabrawler. This next design is a collaboration between myself and Barbie Elite Four. This is a new normal and fire type King's Rock evolution for Ursaluna, kind of an alternative to its Hisuian evolution. Ursaring and Ursaluna have always had association with the moon, but as an alternative to this new evolution for Ursaring is an awakened state where this Pokemon is more in touch with and worships the sun. You can see the ring pattern on Ursaring's chest evolves into this beautiful mural. The King's Rock has influenced this Pokemon where it even makes it look like it's wearing a crown while also looking like that same rising sun. This Pokemon has a blue fur all over its body, looking like a morning dew, a morning mist, and the shaggy fur on the lower half of its body resembles these misty mountain tops. Barbie Elite Four also helped me work on this Mienshao evolution where this Pokemon becomes fighting and dragon type. I love the idea of, in the dragon type gym of Unova, there is this nameless serpentine dragon featured throughout the gym puzzle. We see this same Pokemon depicted in black and white marble, but I love the idea that this is all just one reference and worship to an ancient evolution of Mienshao. When Mienshao masters its craft and is given a dragon scale, it becomes this Pokemon where the fur on its body can shapeshift and very often will appear as this mythical dragon in order to enhance its powers. The dragon face on this Pokemon is not truly sentient, and some believe it may even represent the original Unova dragon. Like the Scyther evolution, neither of these Pokemon have names, so let me know if you have any good ideas in the comments. And you know, we featured a lot of dragon type Pokemon today. I think it'd be really cool to highlight this Dragon Hunter Pokemon. This is Failong, a fighting and steel type evolution to Falinks. In order for Falinks to evolve, it must be recognized as a great warrior. It must defeat 20 dragon type Pokemon. This Pokemon still possesses the fighting spirit, but now they are clasped in this metal armor in order to protect their forces, their ranks. And even though this Pokemon is a dragon slayer, when seen from a distance, this Pokemon appears like a dragon itself. As always, every artist featured in this video will be linked in the description. Subscribe for more Fakemon videos and consider joining the Patreon or become a YouTube channel member for additional perks. Let me know which Pokemon you think deserves a new evolution in the next Pokemon game. Arceus bless.